We are pulling back the heavy velvet curtain on the multi-billion-dollar reality television industry to examine a phenomenon that has captivated audiences globally, the myth of the overnight sensation. In an era dominated by digital media and instant gratification, we are systematically conditioned by broadcast networks to crave the ultimate underdog narrative. We are sold the glittering, highly manufactured fairy tale of an unpolished, undiscovered diamond who steps out of absolute obscurity to claim a rightful place among the stars. But what happens when the emotional narrative broadcasted into millions of living rooms is meticulously engineered in a corporate boardroom? Tonight, we initiate a deep dive investigation into the extraordinary and highly controversial career trajectory of Courtney Hadwin. When she first graced the national television screen, she was instantly immortalized by producers and the press as the terrified, painfully shy teenager who possessed the completely unexpected, raw vocal power of a seasoned rock and roll legend. The stage was set with absolute calculated perfection. The broadcast showcased an incredibly timid, physically shaking 13-year-old girl walking onto one of the most intimidating entertainment stages on the planet. The camera angles deliberately highlighted her nervous hesitation, capturing every stutter and awkward glance towards the floor as she attempted to answer the judging panel's standard introductory questions.
The audience in the auditorium and the millions watching from their homes collectively held their breath, fully expecting a fragile, amateurish vocal performance that would match her overwhelming physical anxiety. But the very second the backing track began to play, an unprecedented metamorphosis occurred. The nervous schoolgirl vanished, instantly replaced by a gritty, explosive powerhouse who commanded the stage with the fierce, unbridled spirit of a rock veteran. The sheer, violent contrast between her agonizing stage fright and her undeniable, raw superstar talent left the entire auditorium in a state of absolute paralyzed shock. From a broadcasting perspective, it was pure, unadulterated television gold. The judges, feigning total disbelief, immediately smashed the highly coveted golden buzzer, cementing her status as an overnight global sensation. But beneath the golden confetti, a massive, untelevised controversy was quietly brewing. The highly coveted golden buzzer had barely been pressed, and the confetti was still settling on the auditorium floor before the wholesome, carefully constructed television fairy tale started to aggressively unravel in the unforgiving public eye. Almost immediately following the broadcast of her viral audition, relentless internet investigators and independent media watchdogs uncovered a hidden professional history that the American television network had conveniently and intentionally left out of her emotional introduction.
The fiercely loyal fans who had championed her as a raw, undiscovered amateur were completely stunned to discover that this supposedly inexperienced talent was, in fact, already a seasoned reality television veteran. Extensive digital footprints and archived broadcast footage revealed that just 1 year prior to her explosive American debut, she had been a highly publicized, top-tier competitor on another massive television franchise across the Atlantic, The Voice Kids UK. She had not merely auditioned and faded away, she had successfully fought her way through multiple grueling rounds, ultimately reaching the grand finals of the prestigious European competition. During her tenure on that broadcast, she received extensive professional vocal coaching, rigorous stage movement training, and top-level industry grooming. This explosive revelation completely shattered the network's carefully constructed illusion of a terrified, inexperienced girl stepping onto a professional stage for the very first time. While not strictly against competition rules, the deliberate concealment of her professional background fundamentally altered the context of her performance for the voting public. Serious, widespread accusations immediately surfaced across social media platforms, claiming that her extreme stage fright and physical shaking were nothing more than a highly rehearsed, scripted tactic designed by producers to manipulate viewer emotions and secure viral ratings. The beloved, innocent underdog was suddenly being ruthlessly painted by tabloids and cynical commentators as a deceptive industry plant. The psychological pressure of this sudden, harsh global scrutiny is extraordinarily heavy for an adult to process, let alone a minor trapped inside a highly scrutinized, controversial television storyline, sparking a fierce debate about the ethics of reality TV casting. Securing a lucrative, high-profile record deal immediately following a massive television run is universally perceived as the ultimate entertainment dream. But for this young artist, it quickly morphed into a suffocating, highly restrictive creative cage. Instead of allowing her to naturally develop the raw, unbridled rock and roll energy that originally made her a global phenomenon, the corporate industry machine attempted to aggressively box her into a safe, predictable, and highly marketable package. Record executives and talent managers, driven strictly by analytical data and guaranteed profit margins, pushed her heavily toward recording nostalgic cover songs and universally recognized classics. They were essentially treating her like a highly profitable, perfectly tuned human karaoke machine, rather than a developing, original artist with a unique, independent perspective.
The corporate strategy was completely transparent. They wanted a polished, easily digestible product they could market to the broadest possible demographic, heavily leaning on the nostalgia of older generations who had watched the original television broadcast. In doing so, they were systematically and ruthlessly stripping away the gritty authenticity, the unpredictable edge, and the absolute raw power that set her apart in the very first place. She was rapidly losing control over her own voice and her own artistic direction, forced to navigate a boardroom-driven environment where financial metrics and focus groups mattered far more than genuine creative expression. For a young, highly intuitive musician, being told exactly what to sing, how to dress, and how to act by a team of older corporate executives is an incredibly stifling and demoralizing experience. It became abundantly clear that the entertainment machine was not genuinely interested in nurturing a new, generation-defining rock legend. They were solely interested in milking the remaining viral momentum from her reality television persona before the public naturally moved on to the next heavily manufactured sensation. Recognizing the dangerous, creatively bankrupt trajectory of her highly controlled career, the young rock star reached a critical breaking point and realized that to survive as a true artist, she would have to fight back against the very system that created her.
Right at the absolute peak of her viral fame, when her name was dominating global search engines and television ratings, she executed a near-total, highly strategic withdrawal from the public eye. The immense psychological pressure of constantly living up to a heavily manufactured television persona, combined with the brutal, unforgiving realities of sudden internet fame, had created an incredibly toxic environment. Navigating the treacherous, highly manipulative waters of the mainstream music industry is a ruthless endeavor for seasoned adult professionals. But for a young teenager trapped inside a heavily scrutinized, highly controversial media storyline, it was an absolute suffocating nightmare. Facing a rapidly turning tide of public opinion and the overwhelming pressure of an industry that flatly refused to protect her creative integrity, she made the incredibly difficult decision to step completely away from the blinding mainstream spotlight. She executed a strict media blackout, initiating a mysterious, years-long hiatus that left fans, cynical critics, and industry insiders completely in the dark, wondering if she had permanently abandoned her promising musical aspirations. This silent period, however, was not an admission of defeat or a surrender to her harshest online critics. Rather, it was a vital, necessary psychological survival tactic. She desperately needed to escape the toxic, restrictive label of the manipulative, shy television girl that the network and the aggressive tabloid media had permanently attached to her public identity. Away from the flashing paparazzi cameras, the demanding television producers, and the restrictive record executives, She spent this silent period quietly grinding, refining her vocal techniques, and most importantly, discovering who she actually was outside of the sterile reality television vacuum. Historically, the entertainment industry fully expects former child contestants to simply fade quietly into total obscurity once their initial viral momentum inevitably burns out. However, a massive, untelevised transformation was secretly taking place behind closed doors. She was deliberately shedding the skin of the profitable character that made her famous, preparing in absolute secrecy for a massive, undeniable artistic resurgence. When the time was finally right, her eventual return to the global entertainment spotlight sent a massive, undeniable cultural shockwave completely through her core fanbase and the broader music journalism community. The young woman who confidently stepped back into the public arena was utterly, spectacularly unrecognizable from the fragile, shaking teenager we saw manufactured on television years prior.
The timid, awkward schoolgirl aesthetic, complete with the highly publicized nervous posture and the hesitant speech patterns, had been completely and intentionally incinerated. In her place stood a fierce, highly confident, and exceptionally edgy young artist who commanded the atmosphere with absolute, undeniable authority. There was absolutely no physical shaking, no vocal stuttering, and not a single trace of the manufactured anxiety that had once defined her entire public existence. She had aggressively and successfully rebranded her entire visual identity, stepping out in striking, mature, rock-inspired fashion and carrying a defiant, electric energy that dared anyone in the room to question her authenticity or her fundamental right to be there. This visual rebellion was a massive, highly calculated professional risk. In an industry that strictly demands total compliance, predictable behavior, and strict brand consistency from young female artists, completely abandoning the exact, highly lucrative persona that originally made you a millionaire is a terrifying, unprecedented maneuver. But she was not just performing a simple superficial aesthetic rebrand. She was staging a highly public, undeniably brilliant visual rebellion against every single network executive and record producer who ever told her to play it safe and stay in her assigned corporate lane.
She was forcefully demanding to be seen not as a reality television novelty act, but as a formidable, fully realized rock musician capable of standing on her own. This complete rejection of her former television identity was the first major step in reclaiming her stolen narrative, proving that she was no longer a pawn on a producer's chessboard, but the reigning queen of her own independent artistic destiny. In the highly predictable realm of reality television comeback trajectories, the standard operating procedure is to play it incredibly safe by releasing a highly produced, nostalgic cover song that gently reminds the core audience of why they loved you in the first place. Instead of adhering to this tired, corporate-approved formula, she took a massive, unprecedented risk by completely weaponizing her own original music. She ditched the safe, heavily sanitized cover tracks and launched a direct, unapologetic lyrical assault against the very industry that tried to contain her. The new music she released was not a collection of generic, heavily auto-tuned pop anthems. It was a series of razor-sharp, brutally honest lyrical confessions directed straight at the throat of the entertainment executives and the millions of cynical viewers who had aggressively tried to dictate her identity.
Through her incredibly powerful, signature raspy vocals, she made it abundantly clear to the world that the timid, easily manipulated character they originally fell in love with was completely dead and gone. The lyrics embedded within her original tracks served as a definitive, unyielding manifesto of her newfound creative independence, famously and boldly declaring to the global audience that the old version of herself no longer lived there. This was far more than just a standard musical comeback. It was a highly strategic, hostile takeover of her own public narrative. Looking back at her highly turbulent and unprecedented evolution, this investigative story serves as a stunning, undeniable reminder of the intense psychological pressures and corporate manipulations hidden deep within the entertainment machine. The reality television industry is perfectly and ruthlessly designed to package young, vulnerable talent into simplistic, highly dramatic storylines for the sole purpose of maximizing advertising revenue, routinely chewing them up and spitting them out the moment the television ratings begin to drop. But she completely flipped the script. She survived being molded into a highly profitable character, endured a brutal wave of cyber scrutiny, and proved that true, authentic artistry cannot be permanently contained within a sterile boardroom script, redefining what it truly means to be an independent artist today.